Hi guys, so it's time to talk about oxidation numbers. I know we've talked about ions and their various charges, and so now we're going to talk about kind of an accounting system or a way of determining how many electrons did something start with, how many does it have now. It goes back to formal charge. And so we have rules and more rules. First rule is that all elements are zero. If it's an element by itself, it is zero by default. Fluorine is always -1, no exceptions. Oxygen is almost always -2. It has two exceptions. One is in peroxide, where oxygen is -1, and in OF2, since fluorine has to be -1, oxygen is actually +2. You can imagine that's a very reactive chemical. Hydrogen is usually +1, but it can be -1. You know it's -1 if it says hydride instead of hydrogen or hydro. And the sum for a neutral compound is always 0. So if I have compound X2 or Y2X3, then I know 2 times the charge on Y plus 3 times the charge on X would equal 0. And so if I knew one of those, I could figure out the other, which is exactly what we're going to do here. So uranium I don't know, but we know just from the previous rules that fluoride must be -1. So what would U have to be if my rule is true? Well, I would say X times 1 plus 6 times -1 equals 0. And so uranium should be +6. How about another one? You might want to pause the video right here so that you can figure out all the charges. And again, 3 of the elements in this compound, 2 of which we know what the charges are going to be based on our rules. We know what hydrogen will be, we know what oxygen will be. To figure out sulfur, you would just write a little equation, and I have another practice video where I do all of this, and you can look at that to get more details. But hydrogen would be +1, sulfur would be +6, and the total charge on all the oxygens is -8, and that's kind of a typo because oxygen should be -2. How about for chlorate? Again, I'd pause it right here and see if you can figure this one out. But the answer is chlorine is +5 and oxygen is -2. So I encourage you to go to the problem video for oxidation numbers, look at a few more examples. There's some in there that I left for you to do, and of course we'll be doing these on worksheets. Any questions, feel free to ask me in class. Thanks guys. Bye.